Hey, everybody, smash that like button right now before you even hear what we have to say because we promise you what you are about to hear is going to have you hyped, heated, or absolutely losing your mind about the 2026 Toronto Blue Jays. Welcome back to Blue Jays Today, coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio, where we never, ever run out of things to say about the greatest baseball team on the planet. I'm your host Adam Puddle, alongside my guy Nicholas Play, and today we are doing something that every single Blue Jays fan has been desperate for since the offseason started heating up. We are taking every single major Fangraphs projection for your Toronto Blue Jays and we are deciding, player by player, whether the computer got it right, got it wrong, or just straight up disrespected your team. We're going over or under on every name that matters: Vladdy, Gaussman, Kirk, Springer, the new guys, the veterans, the whole crew. Buckle up. This one is going to be loud. Let's get into it. Let's start where all great conversations about this Blue Jays team have to start, with the man, the myth, the half-billion-dollar legend himself, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Fangraphs has projected him for a 901 OPS going into 2026. Let that number sink in for a second. 901 OPS. Now that is not a number you just casually throw around. That is a genuinely elite offensive projection, and even the most loyal Vladdy disciples out there will tell you he has only cracked that mark twice in his entire career. So on paper, the cynical, data-driven, emotionless computer is asking a lot. But here is what the computer cannot account for, and this is the part that makes our brains absolutely explode with excitement every time we think about it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just signed a 14-year, $500 million extension that keeps him a Blue Jay through the year 2039. $100 million. That kind of money does not just buy a player. It buys focus, it buys freedom, it buys the absolute removal of every single mental distraction that has ever crept into the back of Vladdy's mind when negotiation seasons rolled around. And if you watched him in the World Baseball Classic and then watched him go absolutely nuclear in that postseason run, hitting .397 with a 1.289 OPS, 8 home runs, 15 RBIs across 18 playoff games, setting a new franchise record for postseason home runs, then you already know what we know. That fire is not going out. That version of Vladdy, the one carrying nations on his back and carrying this franchise deep into October, is the version that walks into spring training in 2026. We are going over on Vladdy. Call us homers. We do not care. The man is the best hitter on the planet right now, and the Fangraphs computer can sit down. Now, right below the big man on the depth chart, you have got Ernie Clement, projected for a 705 OPS, and here is where things get genuinely interesting from a storytelling perspective. When you look at what Ernie actually did last year, a 711 OPS with genuinely regular playing time, you realize the computer is essentially betting he gets slightly worse. And we are not buying that. Not for a single second. Look, nobody is here to tell you Ernie Clement is going to win a Silver Slugger. He is a contact-first, get-on-base, grind-out-at-bats kind of player. Working deep counts and hunting walks is not exactly his brand. But what he does have is a newfound home, a guaranteed starting role at second base, and the kind of second-half momentum. He posted a 706 OPS in the back half of last season alone. That suggests he is figuring things out at exactly the right time. We think his batting average ticks up a little, his slugging inches forward, and he finishes north of that 705 line. His ceiling here is probably around 720, and honestly, for a second baseman in this lineup, that is a genuine win. We are going over on Ernie Clement, and we are feeling good about it. Now let us talk about the one guy on this entire roster where the bias machine gets turned completely off. Andre Jimenez. Fangraphs has him projected at a 693 OPS, which is actually asking for something like 100 OPS points of improvement over what he delivered last year. And the hard, cold, honest truth, the kind that hurts Blue Jays fans to say out loud, is that we are going under on Andre Jimenez. This is not a personal attack. This is not a pile-on. The guy literally went out in a recent interview with Rosie Dino and called himself out. He said straight up, there is no excuse for my performance, I have to be better offensively, and he is right. You cannot have a 600 OPS player at the bottom of your lineup killing rallies and clogging base paths. Jimenez's entire value proposition is built on speed, on getting on base and doing damage with his legs. But if he cannot get on base in the first place, none of that matters. The gap between 693 and where he actually finished last year is enormous. We love the competitor in him. We want to see him prove us wrong more than you know. But we are going under and we are standing on that hill. Here is the one that has the whole Blue Jays fanbase buzzing from coast to coast. Kazuma Okamoto, projected for a 783 OPS in his very first Major League Baseball season. This man is coming straight out of the NPB in Japan, where he was quite literally one of the most feared hitters in the entire world, slashing 327 with a 598 slugging percentage and 6 consecutive 30-home run seasons before a shortened final campaign. He signed a 4-year, $60 million deal to come to Toronto, and the question everyone is asking is simple. How much does the translation tax cost? The conventional wisdom says you can knock somewhere around 100 OPS points off a player's NPB numbers when they make the jump. Here is the wild part. Even if you apply that full penalty to Okamoto, he would still be sitting right in line with or above that 783 projection. So we are cautiously, excitedly, maybe a little irrationally, going over on Kazuma Okamoto. Underline cautiously. There is real risk here. This is a 783 line, which is already asking him to perform at a very high level in a brand new country, a brand new league, with brand new pitchers throwing brand new stuff at him. But his track record of excellence against elite competition is simply impossible to ignore. The Blue Jays did not spend $60 million on a maybe. They spent it on a guy they believe can deliver right now. We are backing that belief. Alejandro Kirk at 772 OPS, and there is absolutely nothing that is going to slow down the energy in this room when we talk about our guy Kirk. Fangraphs pegged him around 769 OPS last season, and he came in right at that number, had a career year by home run standards with 15 bombs, and the projections have him edging even further forward in 2026. He is still only 27 years old. 27. People talk about Kirk like he is some grizzled veteran on his last legs, and the man has not even hit his prime yet. He was absolutely dominant at the World Baseball Classic. The power is trending up. The on-base skills have always been elite. If there is a scenario where Kirk wins a Silver Slugger, and yes, he has Cal Raleigh to compete with, we acknowledge that it is absolutely a 2026 scenario. We are going over on Alejandro Kirk, and we are going over with maximum confidence. George Springer sits at 791 OPS on the Fangraphs projection board, and this one is the most fascinating conversation of the entire video because of what we know about what Springer did last season. The man was extraordinary. He slashed 309 with a 560 slugging percentage, belted 32 home runs, and posted a 166 WRC+. By virtually any measure, the best defensive season of his career. He found the fountain of youth, and a lot of credit goes to the work he did rebuilding his swing mechanics and preparation under his coaches. He was the Springer of old, remixed and reloaded. Now Fangraphs is projecting a step back to 791, and look, a 36-year-old soon to be 37 does have some injury risk baked in. That is just reality. But here is the counter-argument. He walks into opening day fully healthy. There is no preseason injury cloud hanging over him. He has been launching home runs at an absurd rate during spring training. Everything David Popkins and this coaching staff has unlocked in this man is still very much alive and firing. We are going over on George Springer, though we want to be honest. We do expect some regression from those truly historic numbers, just not a regression this steep. Dalton Varsho at 736 OPS is one of the most exciting conversations on this entire list. In the limited time Varsho was healthy and in the lineup last season, he put up an 833 OPS. 833. In half a season. And right now in spring training, the man has been the hottest hitter in all of baseball, connecting on home runs at a pace that has turned heads across the league. He is in a contract year. He found his groove last season after some early struggles. Everything about Dalton Varsho right now is pointing in one direction. We are going over on the WOAH show, and we are not shy about it at all. If anything, 736 feels like the computer severely underselling a guy who has the talent, the motivation, and the momentum to have a genuinely breakout campaign in 2026. Addison Barger rounds out the position players at 756 OPS, which is almost comically close to what he actually delivered in his first real season in the big leagues. Barger emerged as a legitimate middle-of-the-order threat, flashing real power and showing the kind of batted ball quality that suggests there is more in the tank. His ceiling, when he is locked in, is an 800 OPS, all-star level production. We do not know if 2026 is the year he fully cracks that ceiling, but we do think he takes a step forward with a full year of big league experience under his belt and a murderer's row of lineup protection around him that is going to see him get better pitches to hit than ever before. We are going over on Addison Barger. Nathan Lucas is the one name on the hitter side where we pump the brakes just a little. Projected for a 740 OPS, Lucas had a fantastic season by any measure last year, and he just happened to finish slightly under that very number. The concern is simple. Last year felt like a career year for a guy who spent the better part of his professional life in the minors without anyone blinking twice. We want to believe in the Nathan Lucas story because the story is genuinely compelling, and we think he can play at the MLB level without question. But banking on him replicating or exceeding that output with limited at-bats and only injury-driven playing time to work with feels like a stretch. We are going under on Nathan Lucas, and we say that with real respect for what he has accomplished. Now we flip to the pitching side of things, and this is where the conversation gets even spicier, because the Blue Jays' rotation situation heading into 2026 is genuinely one of the most dramatic storylines in all of baseball. Jose Berrios, Shane Bieber, Bowden Francis, and Trey Yesavage are all dealing with something heading into the season. That is a soap opera and a half. But the guys who are healthy right now? They are absolutely fascinating. Kevin Gausman leads the rotation on opening day, projected for a 3.88 ERA. On the pitching side, going under means a lower ERA, which is better, and Gausman at 3.88 feels like the computer being almost aggressively pessimistic. This man has been one of the most consistent pitchers in baseball since joining the Blue Jays. Even in what could be considered his worst Toronto season, he still managed to sneak under a 4 ERA. He is 35 years old, yes, and age is always a factor for pitchers, but there is zero evidence on the field suggesting any kind of decline. He comes in healthy, motivated, and leading a rotation that desperately needs him to be the anchor right from game one. We are going under on Gausman, meaning we expect him to be better than what the projection suggests, and we feel very comfortable saying that. Dylan Cease, the most significant offseason pitching acquisition, is projected for a 3.57 ERA after signing a massive multi-year deal in the offseason. If you know anything about his career trajectory, you know he runs hot and cold in the most dramatic and almost poetic fashion possible. Good year, bad year, good year, bad year. The pattern is almost suspiciously consistent. Well, by that logic, 2026 is a good year coming. And when Cease has a good year, he goes well under that ERA line. His strikeout stuff is genuinely elite and the talent has never been the question. We are going under on Dylan Cease, and we think this could be the beginning of something really special for him in Toronto. Cody Ponce comes in at a 4.05 ERA projection, and this is a name that has parts of the fan base more quietly excited than almost anyone else in the rotation. Coming off a dominant run in the KBO where he looked absolutely filthy, Ponce has carried that energy right into spring training. Now yes, we will acknowledge, spring training statistics against minor league lineups need to be taken with a grain of salt roughly the size of the Rogers Center. We hear ourselves saying it. But what Ponce has shown across multiple leagues and multiple stages of his career is legitimate, overpowering, swing-and-miss stuff. If he can harness it consistently at the MLB level, 4.05 is absolutely a number he can beat. We are going under on Cody Ponce, and if he delivers, it will be one of the best feel-good stories of the entire 2026 baseball season. And then there is Jose Berrios, projected for a 4.37 ERA, and this is the one that hurts the most to talk about because of what we know heading into the year. Berrios is beginning the season on the injured list. The man is a warrior and a competitor, But when he plays through something, as he has shown himself very capable of doing because his toughness is genuinely legendary in this clubhouse, his numbers tend to suffer for it. We want so badly to believe in a full Barrios bounce-back season. The talent has always been there and the leadership he brings to this pitching staff is invaluable. But the injury situation in 2026 gives us real pause, and we are going over on this one, meaning we expect his ERA to finish north of 4.37 when all is said and done. That is not a sentence anyone wanted to write, but honesty is what this show is built on and we are not going to stop now. Here is the big picture, and this is what you really need to understand about this Toronto Blue Jays team heading into 2026. The Fangraphs projections are not wildly outrageous. They are actually fairly modest, reasonably humble estimates built on historical data and regression modeling. And the reason we keep going over on hitter after hitter is not purely bias, though we will freely admit the bias is real and it is alive and well in this studio. It is because most of these guys actually outperformed similar projection lines last year. The lineup that was one of the most productive offenses in all of baseball last season is largely intact. You add Kazuma Okamoto as a genuine middle-of-the-order weapon. You lock up Vladdy for 14 years and watch the shackles come off his shoulders forever. You get Dalton Varsho in a contract year swinging the hottest bat in spring training. You get Alejandro Kirk entering his prime. You get Addison Barger taking his next step forward. And you do all of this in a division where Toronto is projected to be right in the thick of it, fighting for first place against the Yankees, Red Sox, and Orioles in what could be one of the most competitive AL East races in recent memory. The computer says 86 wins. The odds makers like the over on that number. And we say this Blue Jays squad, fully healthy and hungry after the heartbreak of a Game 7 World Series loss to the Dodgers last October, is going to make every single one of these projection lines look like a conservative first draft written by someone who has never watched this team play with everything on the line. The 2026 Blue Jays are not coming to play around. They are coming to finish what they started. Vladdy is locked in. The boys are bought in. The city of Toronto is ready. And honestly, we cannot wait for every single pitch of it. Alright, that is going to do it for today's episode of Blue Jays Today, coming to you from the Sports Interaction Studio. If you made it all the way to the end of this one, you are a real one, and we appreciate every single one of you more than you know. Now here is what we need from you right now. Smash that like button so the algorithm knows what is good. Drop your own over-under picks in the comments below because we genuinely want to read every single one of them and argue with you about it all season long. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We are going to be here all season long, breaking down every big moment, every hot take, and every roster move that matters for your Toronto Blue Jays. We will see you in the next one. Let's